Sales training can be an overwhelming thing for small business owners, but it doesn't have to be. There are some really basic sales training techniques that you can work on right now, and they don't have to take a lot of time out of your day to actually practice. So what are they? Hey folks, I'm Ian Campbell. I'm CEO of Mission Suite. We're going to dive into this, but first, subscribe to our channel and be sure to ring the bell so that you're notified every time that we post new videos here. So after 25 years of sales and of business ownership experience, I've really trained my fair share of business owners and new salespeople. So here are some of the most basic and most effective techniques that I recommend small business owners work on to help them have more effective sales conversations right off the bat. All right, first, get to know your ideal client. If you don't understand your target, you're never going to hit the bullseye. Now, a lot of small business owners, particularly new business owners, they try to target everyone. And as a result, they don't end up successfully selling to anybody. Really understanding who your ideal client is going to help you focus your efforts on the people that are not only likely to do business with you, but those that are going to be your best clients. I had a great interview on the community table with Dean Isaacs about getting to know your ideal client profile, and I highly recommend checking it out. Dean had some great insights to share, and it's going to break this down really well. It's here on the info card on the screen, and there's a link to it in the description. Second, know what you're listening for. Sales all comes down to conversations, and sales opportunities, they can come from the most random conversations that you have, and so you've got to know the key things that you're listening for while you're in those conversations. You might be talking to your neighbor at a barbecue or an acquaintance at a cocktail party, or maybe, I don't know, you hear something somewhere else that suddenly perks up your ears. Well, you better be able to respond. And that leads me to my third point. Know how to start a conversation. If you jump straight from conversation starter into, hey, let's set up a meeting so that I can tell you how I can help you out, you're not a business owner, you're a salesperson, and a pretty desperate one at that. That might be okay, but outside of most business situations, no one really likes that person. So prepare some gently probing questions in response to each of the things to listen for that you've identified. And if you can get your conversation partner to tell you more about the issue that they just revealed to you, you should be able to find an opportunity to casually mention your solution and see if their ears perk up too. Okay, so before I get to my last 2 points, I want to know, are you doing any of these things already? I want to know what your favorite thing to train yourself on is, so let me know down in the comments. Fourth, know what sets you apart from your competition. Get to know everyone else out there that plays in your space, or at least as many of them as you can. For example, in my industry of CRM and marketing automation, there are something like 400 different competitors out there. I'm not going to know all of them by name, but I'm definitely going to get to know what sets me apart, at least from the ones that they've most likely heard of before. If you know what sets you apart from your competition, you can bring up those weaknesses as a part of your solution conversation in contrast to your solution. Now, here's a pro tip. Do not mention your competition when you're doing this. Do whatever you have to do to get used to this. Practice in a mirror, whatever. Just make sure that you don't bring up your competition unless they do. If you bring it up, you're bashing your competition, and that's not a good look. If they bring it up, you're just answering a question. And finally, think about how you're going to respond to objections. There's a great website out there focused all on sales called justsell.com. And they really lined out these 8 core objections that you should really get to know. I'll put a link in the description to that website, but those objections really quickly are lack of perceived value in your solution, lack of perceived urgency to actually do something, the perception of inferiority to a competitor or an in-house offering, some sort of a political issue, lack of money, lack of funds, personal issue with a decision maker, something going on with them, of course, we can't control that. Something happening with an external party, and of course the perception that it's safer to just do nothing. Now again, you're not going to be able to respond to all of these, right? Some of them are simply outside of your control, kind of like that internal issue with a decision maker. But take some time to think about how you would respond to the ones that you can. Write them down. Again, practice them in a mirror. Make really sure that you can discuss these conversationally and not argumentatively, so that when you're ready, when they or some variation of them actually do come up in your conversations. So if you start following these 5 little tips as a small business owner, you should really start to see a marked improvement in the way that your conversations actually start leading to sales. Again, make sure to check out the recording of the community table episode about your ideal client profile, and check out the 8 objections from justsell.com. Okay, in the meantime, if you got something out of this video, Click that like button so that others can see it as well. And make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that you never have to miss when we post one of our next videos. And we're going to see you next time. Cheers.